Hey everyone, and welcome to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at 1320 AM, WARA. This is Catherine Conley, aka KC, with Lucy Cabral, aka Paparazzi, Justin Ferreira, aka the Sportsmaster, Antron Peebles, aka
Big Tron.
Big Tron, yeah.
Big Tron.
I like that. Caleb Tremblay and Dominic Damiano, aka Dom, who is outside the studio. We have our special guest is Brittany Mahan. She is a former intern here for 4 Deep Sports Talk, and she also works for Comcast Sportsnet Boston and Nesson. And before we get into that, Caleb has a new sponsor that he's going to...
This segment of 4 Deep Sports Talk is being sponsored by Diesel Direct. Diesel Direct, a national field resource in 46 states, has a fleet of 900 field delivery trucks. 4 Deep Sports Talk would like to congratulate Diesel Direct on its 25th anniversary. Thank you, Diesel Direct, for your support, helping us provide a platform for high school and youth athletes in southeastern Massachusetts.
That's awesome.
All right, awesome.
Thank you, Diesel Direct.
Diesel Direct.
Want to get into our questions? Who wants to go first?
Hey, jump right into them. We gotta.
Yeah, well, first I just want to say thank you guys for having me.
All right.
It's been a long time since I've been near 4 Deep Sports.
Excited to have you.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's good to see new faces, and it's good to see that he's still doing this. I think it's important that youth sports gets noticed and recognized. We all love the professionals, but at one point they were all youths. So this is the foundation. This is where it starts, and I think to never forget that and always to make that important, because that's how the future generations keep growing and how we have more stuff to talk about. So thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, and please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, all one word, 4 Deep Sports Talk. I do this all the time, like every show.
It's okay. It works as long as you get it in. That's important.
Right now we have 406 subscribers as we speak.
Woo!
That's awesome. We got to get that up to about 1,000 before. That's good though.
Yeah, we'll get there.
1,000 nothing. Let's go for 1 million.
That's what I'm talking. I was getting ready to keep saying it, but I like how you jumped in and got me, brother. That's good business. Yeah.
Maybe I'll do a TikTok. Maybe sometime later.
Hey,
love that.
We all need to do one. That'll be pretty fun. With
Yeah, for sure.
TikTok, 4 Deep Sports Talk. That'll be awesome. Yeah.
So, Brittany, I know you started here even before me, which is a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh my God, how many years now?
Everybody, how you started?
Okay, so I I was at Bridgewater State University. That's where I went to college, and then I wanted to be a sideline reporter. I just kind of saw a girl on the field, and then she kind of vanished my following year, which obviously she graduated. But I didn't know anything about her besides that I saw her on the field. So then I walked into the Bridgewater State booth on their like Swanson Field, and I just walked in and I was like, "Hi, I'm Brittany. I'm just looking for a job. I'm wondering if I could be your sideline reporter." And they were like, "Who are you? And why are you just walking into the booth?" And at that time, my mindset was, when you want a job, you walk into where you want a job and you talk to the people who are hiring and you ask for a job. So that's what I did. And that is honestly what I did for every single job that I've gotten in the sport industry.
Good for you.
It was something
Our stories are pretty similar.
Yeah.
Pretty similar. I grew up watching Red Sox games with my dad.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to be the next Hazel May.
Love that.
And I figured, how am I going to do this? And then life happens, and, you become an art director, and that was always my second major. But I retired from that career and thought, you know what? I still want to be on the radio. I still want to, so I combined that with my music career.
Yeah.
And it's been so fulfilling because, face it, we're not getting any younger.
Ain't that the damn truth?
How many years has it been since you started here?
Yeah, probably 7. Honestly, it's
really.
It's been a while. It's been a little bit. I started when I was 19. I'm 28 now.
Yeah.
So it has been a journey, to say the least. I went from being an intern here to not really knowing much about the industry at all. Dominic kind of showed me the ropes. He let me go to baseball, actually football games with him. I hosted a couple shows with him. And then I put on my resume that I was an intern here, and then I was also the sideline reporter at Bridgewater State, so that was also on my resume. And then I just applied for an internship with the Bruins, and I got it. So
good for you.
Yeah,
good
so
for you.
It worked out pretty well for me. But I think with 4 Deep Sports as my background, it gave me the confidence to really be able to kind of walk into that room with the professionals and really know what I was talking about and know what they were looking for. And I had the drive and passion and the understanding of sports to kind of be able to do it.
Absolutely. And I have to tell everybody, I mean, I was a little jealous when she went out there to the Bruins. I mean, if you're watching this, Brittany is drop dead gorgeous. So she really is. And when she's out and people are taking pictures of you sideline reporting, I'm like, I always wanted to do that, you know?
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be on the other
paparazzi.
side of that as well, being able to share all my photos and just being with you guys and showing people that this can be done.
I'm going to be honest. I'd rather be on the other side. I try.
Camera-wise?
Yeah. I like producing, directing.
Yep,
I like.
that's where I am.
Yeah. It's just more fulfilling. It's there's only so much you can say in front of a camera, and then there's so much that comes with being in front of the camera.
Oh, yeah.
That I personally don't like. I'm just gonna say it. Not huge with the whole fan thing. I don't know. It's just a lot that comes along with being on front of the camera. So I enjoy giving someone else that shine and that glory.
Yeah,
Or
I
maybe
hear you.
maybe you also just switch.
I
Right?
know. I'll put you on any day.
You
Yeah, we'll talk
you
later because I got an opportunity. Honestly, I
Write a
really do.
contract up for that
Yeah.
right there. You show up, I get paid.
But that's the thing about this industry is
Right.
you can jump around. Like
Absolutely.
I've done every single role. I've been the director, the producer, the editor, the videographer, the reporter. So with that, that gift of being able to try everything, you then get the privilege to then choose which path you really want to go down.
Right.
And I think that's what's super important to tell the youth is like, I don't know if you guys like to try things out there, but when I was a little girl, my dad used to make me try every food out there. Like, and I didn't even want to try them most of the time, but he'd
Right.
be like, just try it. And then, through trying things, I learned what I liked and what I didn't like. And, that kind of, ironically, I know it's food and work, but it went hand in hand kind of.
Absolutely.
So you said you walked in Bridgewater State. How did that experience go for you when you demanded the job that you the career that you wanted?
Yeah.
How did that pan out? How did that situation?
So I got the job. I ended up
Absolutely.
being the sideline reporter for every sport. So I was for baseball, football, basketball,
Awesome.
soccer. And there was what really was. I think the thing that made me stand out was no one else was doing that. It was a D3 school, and I just believed that all because it's D3 doesn't mean it can't get represented like a pro team.
Absolutely.
And I think with that passion behind you, you can take anything at any level and bring it to whatever level you want.
Right,
So I think a lot of people were shocked because I'm going to be honest with you. I went from Bridgewater State, which I don't know if you guys have ever been to Bridgewater, but it's
Yeah.
like a high school.
I'm alumni.
Yeah, are you? Awesome. Hey, there you go, Bear.
I'm here. Yeah.
My brother went there.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
And you know the gym.
Yeah.
Like it's Tinsley Center.
Absolutely.
It looks like a high school. It's not
basketball arena.
Yeah, and so when I walked in it, so let me tell you a little story about TD Garden. So I was sideline reporting at Bridgewater State, and I wanted to be the sideliner for the Celtics. So someone had bought me tickets, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to the game early, and I'm just going to walk in, and I'm going to just talk to the Celtics coach and ask him for a job. Like, I don't like, that's what I did at Bridgewater.
That's what you're supposed
Makes
to do.
sense, right?
A whole lot.
So I walk in there, and I actually had a knee brace on because I actually had shattered my knee a couple months prior, and I ended up just walking in there, and I dressed professionally, and I really just thought to myself, like, fake it till you make it is a real statement that is actually
is.
truer than you'll ever believe it could be. So I kind of just was telling myself as I'm walking into TD Garden that I belonged here and that I worked here. I had no right being there besides that I had a ticket to the game that night, but I thought I fit. And so I'm like 19 years old. I'm walking into TD Garden, and there's a security guard, and I'm wobbling up the stairs, and he turns on the escalator for me, and he's like, "Oh, you going to work?" And I was like, "Yes, I am going to work."
He said where you were going.
Yeah.
He knew
So
where you were going.
so I ended up just going in there, and I ended up, it was actually a closed Celtics practice, and I ended up just wobbling in with a knee brace. And they're like, and now that I've been in the industry, like nobody besides the coaches and the players should be on that court during a Celtics practice that's private. But there I was just wobbling in, and I thought it was normal. And then I talked to one of the assistant coaches, and he's like, "I think media's like over there. I don't know. You're not. I don't know what to do." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I ended up getting a food running position at TD Garden in the sweet section.
Yeah.
So that kind of just got me in the door, and I think that's the goal, is to always make sure you're taking one step forward towards what you want to accomplish, and making sure that you're meeting those people that can get you there.
Absolutely.
And making sure that you're treating them with like respect and honor and dignity, because you can fake it till you make it. You can put yourself in the right positions, but what it really comes down to, if people don't like you as a person, they're not going to acknowledge you. So
Absolutely.
You know, it's crazy
Absolutely.
that you say that. I mean, on those vibes of what she's talking about, fake it till you make it. You belong in the space. I try to tell the youth, give yourself the opportunity to be prepared and to be in the space around the people where you want to be in the future. You belong there. That the energy. We're all energy.
Yes.
And whatever you want to do in life is plausible. And I try to tell everybody, don't hold yourself. This body holds us to limitations of what everybody else expect you to be, or their expectations. But what about you? Your energy, your soul told you, this is where I'm supposed to be. And that guy knew, you're going to work. You're right, I am going to work. And that's awesome. That's a great story for these youths to know that you can do anything that you want to do in life. That's awesome.
and I want, that's definitely the
especially
huge
young
message.
girls.
Yes. And I didn't even know that at the
Ladies like
time.
yourself.
I had no idea at the time what the future was holding for me when it came to like, because I didn't
Absolutely.
see. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't grow up in a world where like any racism exists or any stereotype
okay.
exists. So the world was kind of my oyster. But you know, the good job my parents honestly did raising me. They raised me to be very diverse and very culture accepting and stuff like that. So when I walked into the adult world, I thought everyone was like sunshines and rainbows. I thought we were all helping each other, kumbaya. You learn quickly that that's not the
Rude
case.
awakening, isn't it? Very rude
Yeah,
awakening.
the pandemic shook up my world, but you know, we're making it.
Right.
Yeah, so we have to take our first break. So
Okay.
you're listening to WARA 1320 AM 4D Sports Talk with our special guest, Brittany Mahan, who currently works for Nesson and works for Comcast Sportsnet Boston. We'll be right back with more right after these messages.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk. We are here with our special guest, Brittany Mahan, who used to be here at 4 Deep Sports Talk and is currently working at Sportsnet Boston and Espen. Now, my first question for you is, how did you get into broadcasting?
Okay. First, I just want to say that I actually am a former employee of Nesson. Due to the pandemic, I no longer work there just because the position that I had doesn't necessarily exist, and there was a transitional period after the pandemic. So I still am a freelancer in the sport industry,
Nice.
and that allows me to kind of work for any network, whether that's like ESPN, Fox Sports, Comcast Sports. So just wanted to clarify that for the listeners. But
that's great.
yeah,
Good for
so
you.
Thank you. But how I got started was kind of similar to what I was saying before, was at Bridgewater State. And then it just kind of grew from there. When I was the intern at the Bruins after I left 4 Deep Sports, I was a very proactive intern. I think that's one of my biggest advice for people that want to be interns is make sure that you are meeting everybody, shaking their hands, introducing yourself, eye contact. Don't be on your phones. Make sure you're engaged, interactive, and that you truly care and you want to show that you want to be there. And luckily from all that, I then got transferred to the Red Sox internship. And I did the same thing, and then they hired me as their stage manager. So 2016 was kind of the year of interns for me, and then 2017 was when I started working in the industry. And I sat in the booth next to Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien, Dennis Eckersley for about 4 years.
Wow.
And so 2018 when the Red Sox had their best season, I was at every single home game. So I saw
Nice.
all those home wins, which was awesome.
So were you on camera or
So
behind
they
the
were
camera?
right next to me.
Yep.
Think about it like the booth is like a rectangle, and
Yep.
I was right to the left of them. So if they just tilted the camera a second, I was right there. So
Oh.
yeah, but it's all right. It was cool. It was the best learning experience, and there was nothing. Rest in peace, Jerry, and he was a great guy. So I was really blessed and honored to have the last couple of years of his life with him. So that was
That
really
is
cool.
so cool. What a memory.
Yeah.
Wow. And what did you learn in that booth?
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So it's super intimidating. I'm going to be honest because, and this is a transitional period that I didn't even understand because I went from a D3 school, think of like a high school setting, to then the pros, right? So
Right.
usually people go to high school, then they go to college, which usually ends up like being a D1 school, which is like a preview of what the pros would be. I went straight from high school jumping into the pros, right? So when you kind of take that mindset and expand it, you're not aware that a live broadcast for millions of viewers is one of the most stressful environments that you will ever be in your entire life. So,
But on TV, it looks so smooth.
thanks, but it was, it's wild what goes on behind the scenes. So I learned a lot. I learned how, to run a production for millions of people. I learned the content. I learned the commercial. I learned the business side of it. I'm somebody that loves to engulf life. I like to learn a little pieces of everything, and then I like to kind of use what I think is truly important to kind of progress and move forward. So.
Sure, that's great, and there should be more people like you.
Thank
you really need to be well-rounded, so to speak,
Yeah.
and always know where you came from. And so that's why I asked that question. That's great.
Yeah, and just like I said, like before we were coming back here, like girls can do anything boys can do, if not better.
I love that.
All right, Justin, you're up for questions.
You want me to keep going?
Go ahead.
Okay. What's your favorite sport?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's tough when you're covering all the major
I
ones.
know.
So.
You know what? Oh man, it's so challenging because it's so different because we're in New England, right? So basketball's, has a different season, and then you have Fenway, which is obviously in spring, summer. So I'm gonna go with Red Sox. I'm gonna go with baseball, and the reason I'm gonna go with baseball is just because it has the most memories and the most, I think, impact on my life at this moment. So,
Right.
yes. But to play basketball, for sure, because I'm not very good at baseball.
So, in journalism, do you feel like it's been hard for you? I know it's, like you said, it's walking into the locker rooms, or do you get the opportunity to do that?
Yeah, so I was actually the only intern, and I think it was due to my aggressive nature sometimes, that sat in, there's the Red Sox dugout, and then next to the Red Sox dugout is a camera pit, and in that camera pit is where the sideline reporter for the Red Sox sits every game.
Right.
And so in 2017, I just asked to shadow the Red Sox sideliner, who was Gary Straisky at the time, and I thought that it meant sitting in that camera pit with him during the game, and it didn't. So the director's live, and he goes to commercial break, and they have me get on the headset, and he's like, "You are an intern. Who told you could sit in the camera pit live during the game?" And I was like, "I was shadowing the reporter. I thought that's what a shadow is, right? You follow them the whole day,
people, right?
Exactly.
Right?" And he's like, "Well, we can't pull you now because it's like a whole to do." He's like, "All right, yeah, you'll sit there, but that's
You do all the right things to get you in a place to be seen.
That's
I tell you
right.
that.
I'm just going to
That's
say it's really good to ask, to just kind of say sorry afterwards.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes people won't give you the permission to do it. So you just got to be like, whoops.
Yeah, that's what I do all the time. I always have to say sorry for anything.
Because you don't mean any harm by it. Like, I didn't mean any harm by
No,
sitting
not at
there.
all.
I just wanted to learn, and it was a dream job of mine. And it's interesting to see where my mindset was in 2016 to where it was in 2019.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, the pandemic had a whole
That made
impact.
it very difficult.
For sure. So I had to
Very
pivot even when I didn't want to, I had to pivot. So, but that's sports for you, right?
Yeah.
And I think 4 years in the industry prepared me for a live event of a pandemic.
That being said, are we good on time?
Oh, yeah. I actually have my questions.
Okay. I just wanted to say
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that being said, the COVID hit, right? Journalism changed.
Yes,
You
completely.
have a lot of journalists out there now. Everything changed.
Oh, yeah.
So now you got everybody making their own platforms.
Exactly.
Is it making it harder for you and your opportunity, to get in a place where you want, because so many platforms out there now.
Right. So now industries kind of didn't, being the reporter isn't so much the dream anymore, right? It's kind of running your own brand, which is something that I actually did. So after when the pandemic stopped the sport industry, I started a podcast called Beautiful Broken, and it's a live stream podcast. And it's one of the things that was challenging was the more I got to meet the reporters, the more I realized that they had kind of stage questions, and they weren't allowed to ask the deep-rooted questions that I wanted to know. I'm all about the struggle. I'm all about adversity. I'm all about overcoming adversity. So I started a podcast that interviews people about adversity that they overcome, and through life experiences, they teach our viewers how to do it themselves. So that's kind of where I would love to talk to you guys off camera more about this, because I'd love to get you guys involved.
That's what I do.
I heard you're a motivational speaker. So we have a lot to work on together.
It's great.
And that's kind of where I fell in love with the industry of sports, because they really are like some of those men, like, to get to the pros. I'm telling you right now, it's a grind, but to get to the pros on camera, to get to the pros, to be a reporter, to get to the pros in any way, for someone to see you as a professional, it's a grind. And and I'm talking about even the professional mom, a professional dad. Like, we're talking just a civilian that's successful.
Right.
It's a grind. And I don't think people talk about that enough.
Absolutely.
And I
But
think
it's the real world.
yeah, and that's something, oh my goodness. I went from the sport industry, right? So now I work at Mass Hire as a youth career counselor, and then I'm still doing Beautiful Broken.
Oh,
So
you
we're kind of,
do?
yeah, I shifted a lot, and it's crazy because I had the hardest time connecting with these 9-to-5ers. I'm like, what do you mean we have an hour lunch break? What is that? Like, it's just the sport industry, everything's live, everything's now, everything's, so when you're working in a 9-to-5 world and they're routine scheduled, they go to work at 9, they leave at 5, they eat dinner at 6, they go to bed by 10.
Right.
That is not the sport industry.
Nope.
Like, someone just hit a home run and 5 people are running to home base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or someone just hit a foul ball, or you're someone's in the fan causing a scene. Get them on camera because we need good footage. So it's so chaotic in a live event
And stressful.
Yeah. But then but it's so much calmer when you like have structure and guidance and all that
absolutely.
stuff. But, so that's a little
Interesting.
insight, but yeah.
All right. I also have a question. What advice would you give an aspiring sports journalist / broadcaster?
Awesome. That's a really good question. I would say that if you are someone out there who wants to get in the sport industry, I say this with like so much like passion, just hold on tight to your dream, because unfortunately everyone in the sport industry fought to get there, and it is a battle. It's an uphill battle. It's just as hard as becoming a pro. And so you're gonna meet a lot of adults who don't mean to be negative, don't mean to put you down, but they're gonna be like, oh, well, do you know like how hard it is and blah, blah, blah. So if you can just hold on to your dream, hold on to your passion, hold on to your beliefs of how talented you are and how skilled you are, and not need validation from anybody else, then that's gonna get you a lot farther than you think it will.
Okay, so like make bonds and like meet people.
Yes.
Be confident in yourself and
Exactly.
stuff like that. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, like, it's probably similar to Justin's question. So, how did you first get into journalism, and what was your favorite topic to talk about? I would say it was sports, right?
Honestly, sports started it for sure, but once I started understanding like people, I'm more passionate about mental health and how people still stay positive when they're maybe going through an episode of anxiety or depression or something like that. So back to kind of what I'm doing now, I really love just adversity and people overcoming it and hearing those hero stories. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I believe it's always important. Like, mental health is just as important as physical health, and that makes me glad that I actually learned about mental health when I was in high school.
Oh, perfect.
So with that being said, we have 10 seconds left before our second break. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at 1320 AM WARA. We are currently with our guest, Brittany Mahan from Comcast Sportsnet Boston. Oh,
We'll get it right. It's okay.
508-222-1320. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk Show. Today we are joined by Brittany Mahan, who also was a former intern for 4 Deep Sports Talk. I'm going to open up here with a question. Who or what inspired you to be a sports journalist / writer?
So, man, that story is so long, but just to kind of sum it up.
Short version.
Yeah, short version is just my dad. He was huge into sports. He was the whole memorabilia sports wall when you walk into the house, always listening to sports. So I think just naturally wanting to connect to your dad, kind of like Lucy said, is her story as well. It kind of seems to always be the go-to when a girl likes sports. But yeah.
But yeah, I also agree. My dad is a massive sports fan. My entire family just loves sports and stuff like that. So that's also been like my inspiration to join this field or try to.
You will.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I mean, when I first met you, I was like, this is awesome that you're doing this at 17.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I didn't start this till I was 19. I know that's only 2 years later, but still, 2 years is a long time.
Yeah.
So by 19, you're going to be a pro.
There you go. He's actually entering Bryant.
Yes, very awesome.
In
That's
the
a
fall,
great school.
which is great.
I have to say, I am very, very excited for that.
Yeah, take every opportunity you can.
I will.
I actually wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
did you play any sports while you were in high school?
Yeah, so I played field hockey, basketball, and tennis.
Oh, I
Wow.
played field
Yeah.
hockey and basketball.
Yeah, I heard you out there say that. I was excited to
Yeah.
talk to you about it. What position were you?
I was either left or right wing.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah.
I like to be on on the outside of
Yeah, I
the
was
field,
inner and in forward, but I wouldn't say I was very good. I'm gonna be honest. I'm more of a talker than I am an activity sports player, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
try, you know. But the passion is there, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
What
all
it's
you
all
need,
about.
right?
Yeah.
That's all I need.
And what advice can you give to everyone about going live on camera?
Okay. If you were gonna be live on camera, I would suggest that. Honestly, I'm gonna be kind of corny here, but just speak from your heart and be proud and own what you're saying. Because I think if you try to say something scripted or say something non-authentic, everyone can tell. I think even the people that are interviewing can tell. So
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? When it just kind of speaks from the heart, it just is more natural and people like it. People usually feel it more.
You know what I feel like? Just be you.
Yes.
There you go.
Right? If you,
absolutely.
You know?
Couldn't have said it better. Yes.
Excuse me. What'd you say?
Oh, what did
I said
I
just-
didn't know what you
Just be
said.
you.
Oh yeah, be you.
She thought I was acting. I said it so good. She was like, huh?
I know. She's like, wait, what do you mean?
No, just be yourself.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
At the end of the day, I can't be anybody but me.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the advice that I give them. But I can tell she's speaking from her heart. She's really
Oh,
into
yeah.
the youth.
And she's got the smile to go with
yeah,
it.
got the
I'll
smile
tell
to go
ya.
with it. Smile. So, yeah, I can tell.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
You got any more questions?
Yeah, I did.
Loaded.
Okay, so now if it was up to you, as opposed to a boss per se, if you could interview any athlete, who would be your pick?
Ooh. Ooh.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that is a
Good
good
one.
question. If I
Question.
could interview any athlete, who would I pick? You know what? I'm gonna have to go with my theme here, but probably David Ortiz. And the reason why I would talk to Big Papi was because he has experienced a lot of adversity, especially after he got out of baseball. And he's kind of been doing his thing. I think the number one challenge with pro athletes is you start off as a kid and you love the sport and you're able to play the sport. Then you get to college and you get a little scared because you don't know if you're going to be good enough, but then let's say you are. Then you make it to, I don't know, AAA, and then you have to beat out all those guys. Then you make it to AA. Then you get to the pros, and now now you made it. So now you're at Big Papi's level, right? And then you play for a long time, or as long as you're allowed to play, and then your career ends. And what do you do then? How do you handle that transition of coming back to being a civilian and not having the fame and not having the games and not having the practices? And so I think David Ortiz crushed it. I think he did a great job with that transition. And I'd love to talk to him about it and kind of give advice too. Because the journey is awesome. And I think that's what a lot of people focus on is how do we get to the pros and and I'm more focused on okay, and how do they recover after the pros? Because
Yeah.
that's a big come down.
That's
So,
huge.
so that's why David Ortiz.
Awesome. I thought she was gonna say David Price.
Dave.
That's my family.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. That's
he's
my
your
cousin.
family?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my
Yep,
God!
I'm cousins, so,
Wow.
Oh, really?
very
I thought he was gonna say
cool.
that, but,
David Price is a cool guy. I
cool
kind of
dude.
would like to know his transition too, though. When he
ain't
left, him and Eric,
$290
him
million.
and Dennis Eckersley had a little bit of a
Made a lot of money.
It's a great transition. Sleep longer.
Yeah.
Wake up late. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Still gotta stay business.
Oh man,
That's a
good for
great
him.
question, though.
So yeah, so that's who.
Ortiz.
What
Big
famous
Papa.
athletes have you met?
So I actually have met David Ortiz. We sat in the booth together, but not. I haven't. We never had a conversation. So I think that's also why I want to interview him, because it's like, you know, when you meet somebody and then you're like, I have so many questions for you. So that's kind of like
Right.
when,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it just stopped after that.
That's
So.
very surprising for
Yeah.
you to believe right now. You should have just jumped in there.
I know.
Hey,
You know what? Because they were going live on air, and I wasn't
Right.
ready for him to come into the booth, and he walks down into the booth, and I was like, oh, and he's wearing that huge chain.
Right,
he's a
right,
big
right.
boy. I
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
ready for the tallness. I mean, I should have
Right.
expected it, but they look so much smaller on TV. You know what I mean? And then they
Oh,
come
yeah.
around, and you're like, you're a big person.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. Like when I see athletes on TV and when I see them in person, they're like, oh my God, they're tall.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I've been a
crazy.
lot because I've been on the Red Sox field. I've been in the Red Sox dugout. So like Travis Shaw, I met Julian Edelman. I've met been on the field while Tom Brady was on the field, but I haven't met Tom Brady obviously. But so yeah, so it's been a good little journey. Garen Austin was the sideline reporter for the Red Sox. She's one of my good friends. So
Okay.
our story of friendship is hilarious because I walked up to her and I was like, "Hi, I want your job. I'm Brittany. I'm the new intern." And I had you don't do that. You just don't, like, future advice, don't do that, because it was her first season with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And so she's like, who is this intern that's already threatening? Because I had no idea that people were actually actively, because that's one of the things you should know is when you get your career in the sport industry, you have like 50 young kids waiting to take your spot. So it's intimidating.
Sure.
And I didn't see it from that perspective because I was the young kid striving to get that, position. So now that, but we laugh about it because she is actually one of the best advice givers that I had in the industry, and she kind of walked me, and she's actually a big reason why I transitioned more into wanting to talk about personal stories and personal health and all that stuff, because she gave me so much insight to what a sideline reporter actually would be and how much you're on the road and how you're alone in hotel
it's
rooms.
not glamorous.
It's not as glamorous. I mean, that glamorous shot that they put you on TV for a couple seconds looks fun, but the loneliness
course.
of behind it is didn't match for what I was looking for.
Hard work. That's what it is.
Yeah.
A
Yes.
lot of people like to see the visual of what it looks like, but behind the scenes is not what it is. It's work. That's what it is. It's work.
For sure. For
It's a
sure.
lot of work.
Exactly.
And please subscribe to our YouTube channel as Dom is trying to signal to me to fix the audio. I don't know what button. So all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. Oh, and please call 508-222-1320. That is 508-222-1320 if you wanna call and ask our guest Brittany some questions. And that's that. Oh, and my next question for you is who is your favorite player and why is that?
Oh, okay. Who is my favorite player? Man, that's a good question. Honestly, probably Grant Williams on the Celtics. I respect his play. I respect
Is
his.
it Dallas now?
Big hustle
I know.
player.
Oh my God! I
right.
forgot he took the deal.
Yeah, he took the
He
deal.
took the deal,
Off to
man.
Memphis.
Okay, because wow. All right, well, he just left, so there's that. But maybe he's not anymore. Maybe I take that back real quick.
Don't take it back.
No, I just I respected how young he was in the industry, and we connected actually, and he shared some insight with me, and I was just amazed at how mature he was. I think he was 20 when he got into the pros. He was a baby who couldn't even drink alcohol, and here he is playing with these professionals, playing with these guys that have been doing it forever. So there's just a kind of respect that I have for youth that can hang out with the older crowd and fit in.
Yeah. I think we got some chi going around. We got something. He went to Tennessee. I'm a former volunteer also.
Oh,
University of Tennessee.
wow.
So she like the Tennessee guy with Bears.
There you go. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
This is connection now.
Uh-huh.
This thing going.
And I told you off
Very
camera, I'm heading to Nashville in
in
October, so.
Going on.
Oh, lucky you, Lucy.
Now, what brings you to Boston, all the way from Nashville?
Well, my wife was from here, so I decided to come up here. I had an opportunity to work out with the Pats. So, you know what I mean? And when I came out here, that's what I did.
Very awesome.
You know, I played football for the University of Tennessee, played with
Wow.
Peyton Manning. So,
Very cool.
so I know.
My God, so you know the industry very well.
I know the industry a lot.
Okay, so we have so much to talk about. Oh my
There you
goodness.
go,
Okay,
right?
Absolutely.
Matter of being in the right room and wanting to do it myself.
Hear that.
And, you know, so have my own platform and do, you know, but we'll talk.
We will talk. Oh, I am so
We don't-
excited.
Yeah.
This is
Yes,
great.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, you know.
Yeah, I gotta say,
Anyone
this
else?
is like the exciting like show that I've ever been part of.
That means a lot.
Yeah,
This is where it all starts.
yeah.
And it's great because I was sitting in you guys' shoes. Like I wore that polo.
There you go.
There's a picture of me in that polo. So
Oh yeah.
I think you're on our website also.
yes, yeah.
Right?
Put it back
As
on.
alumni.
Keep her on there.
Oh, I
Who'll be
wanted
next?
to give a shout out to one of our past interns also, Anthony Palladino. You guys remember Anthony? All right, so he went
don't think
to
I-
Quinnipiac, I think. And I think he's still going there. I'm not quite too sure. But Anthony, if you're listening, happy birthday. And I know we got engaged.
Oh.
And so, yeah. Yeah, happy birthday.
do it.
Shout out to Anthony.
My boyfriend's out there. Don't we-
Are you listening, boyfriend? No, just
But we've had a few interns come through here. Joe Dez, you know, he's up at University of Michigan, I believe.
Michigan
That's awesome.
State.
Michigan State. He's following into the broadcast journalism and all that. He was great. Hopefully he's home for the summer, Dom, if we can get him on the show as well.
Oh
Find
yeah.
out where his career is heading. That would be great.
Yeah, so we have to take our last break. So you're watching 4 Deep Sports Talk here at 1320 AM WARA. We are continuing highlighting Brittany Mahan, our former intern for 4 Deep Sports Talk, who currently works for. Oh, and we have
Mass hire, right?
Mhm.
Oh,
yeah, we have
we-
a call. Yes.
hold on to that.
We're gonna have
Yeah,
to
we're
wait.
I'm going to
No.
hold
Get
on to
back
that
to him.
call.
Hold on
Let's
to him.
take the break.
All right, we'll be right back. Hey everyone, and welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at 1320 AM WARA. Before we continue highlighting Brittany Mahan, we do have a call. Hello, caller. You are first to appear on 4D Sports Talk. Is this Louie?
Sure is. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Is it?
I'm great.
Do you have any questions for Brittany Mahan?
Yes, I do. To me, it's very interesting that you've met so many different people between the Red Sox and the Bruins and the Celtics. What are the big differences in the personalities?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah,
Thanks for
sure
calling.
is.
I appreciate you participating, and I really appreciate you listening to the story and what's going on today. So thank you for that. And wow, so I think it's safe to say that New England and their fans are one of a kind. So even behind the scenes, it shows. So from the Bruins, Celtics, Patriots, and Red Sox point of view, it is night and day. It is just hockey is hockey, and what you see, what you feel, the energy in the arena, it feels exactly like that. And then when you go to the Red Sox, it is just like a sunshiny day. Everyone's having their hot dogs and that. That beer, and if it's a sunny day, they're singing all those amazing songs that Fenway does. So, it's just a more I think it's a little bit of a lighter crowd than I would say the Bruins have. And then, oh my gosh, football, forget about it. It's
ruthless, isn't
it? That's a whole nother animal. So, so I would say it's interesting to see the transition of the fans due to the season and what sport is in during that time.
Right.
Well, that's great. I saw JT Mott, forget his name. JT from the Red Sox, he was speaking last night. He was talking about Friday night's game where he said the umpires had to stop the game because the fans in Fenway were singing too long.
Oh, yeah, they do. They love that. They love their songs. That's where people go. I mean, baseball is a great sport. Don't get me wrong. I did say it was one of my favorites, but the fans at Fenway really make it. When you're sitting there above home plate and you can see everyone doing the wave.
Oh, yeah. Fun. Red
That's-
Sox
that's-
Nation.
That is the best part, the way.
The wave is the best.
Those fans are very, very passionate.
Sweet Carolina.
Right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You definitely have a good time at a Red Sox baseball game.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Well, thanks a lot for taking my question.
Thank you
Good
for
luck.
calling.
Thank you for calling, Louie.
You betcha. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so
I actually have a question. Since sports is such a game of change, how did change impact your life?
Wow. Okay.
that's a good question.
It's a really good question.
Thank
So I was very blessed to have been thrown into the sport industry or work my way up into the sport industry because when you guys kind of tune into Beautiful Broken, I share my life story in a more in-depth way. And I kind of was born into a world of adversity with a lot of changes. So I think I fit well into the sport industry because of all the changes that they do have. And I hate to be the person that brings up the pandemic so much, but it was such a pivoting time in my life because no one in their life thought the sport industry was going to shut down.
Right.
Like that was something that we thought was going to just stay solid forever. And the fact that it did was a huge change that even, the players themselves had to kind of go through. So to go through that as a country and as, the world together was a huge change that I think the sport industry prepared me for to handle in the best way possible.
So, any more questions, guys?
I got one, but you can go ahead.
Okay. I want to know what you're doing now.
Okay. So right now, like I said, I do work for Mass Hire in Quincy. I help the youth actually find careers between the ages of 14 to 24.
Nice.
Usually the kids come from challenging backgrounds. They have barriers to employment. They have, depression, anxiety, ADHD, something like that. And I kind of help them write a resume, a cover letter, teach them how to interview, and then we go out and we find what job they think they might want and hopefully give that a try through an internship or something like that. And we can pay a lot of what I didn't get. So I didn't have a paid internship actually when I was the last intern for Nesson that wasn't paid. So I was working like 40
Wow.
hours a week with no pay. I had to pay for parking, had to pay for food. So so it's a blessing to be an intern and get paid if you guys are. If you're not, definitely take the experience, but through Mass Hire, you can get paid. So that's kind of the benefit of that. But aside from that, what my true passion is and what my long-term plan is Beautiful Broken. So I want to take more. I just don't think I'm giving enough at Mass Hire. I love the opportunity that it's giving me to connect with the youth and help them, find their career. But I'm not here to find somebody a career. I want to find their life purpose. I want to find their passion in life. I want them to wake up every day and love what they do and know that they're happy doing it. So when I take Beautiful Broken into consideration and I help people find their happiness and find their passion, so Beautiful Broken is a 3-step platform. So we have a live stream podcast. Then we have a website that's going to have all the mental health resources that you need in Massachusetts. And it's going to be separated by the area of town that you live in. So you're going to be able to put in your zip code. And then if you're looking for a therapist, a psychiatrist, a doctor, dentist, anything like that, the resources around you will pop up. And then we're opening up a meditation spa. So it's going to be like a mind, body, and spirit kind of three I don't know.
Tier.
Yeah, 3-tier pretty much. And we hope that, the listeners of the show want to come use the meditation spa. And then once they, feel the effects of what meditation does and what changing your lifestyle does, hopefully they'll use the websites to find the resources that they might need.
So this is your own business
Yeah.
that you're opening up.
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. So with all that experience in the broadcasting area and dealing with a lot of different people,
Yep.
you're taking all of that and throwing it into this resource
Gumbo.
business.
Yeah, it's a
That's awesome.
Thank
and
you.
you're hoping to help people, find their passion and heal from whatever they've gone through.
Yeah.
That's great. Good for you.
Yeah, and we plan on having a launch party. So we're thinking of restarting the show in September. It might move to spring depending upon kind of details that we're trying to figure out. But we will be having a launch party, and I'd love to invite all of you to join us when we do have that launch party. It'd be really great to see you guys there.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And where is this based?
It is based out of Quincy.
Nice.
Yep. So with our studio's out of Quincy. We haven't found the location for the meditation spa yet, but yeah. Well, luckily the pandemic did give us something to do and something to have, and that's that we all can connect easily through the internet.
Right.
So through
And
that.
I'm sure you have partnerships and
Yeah, we're in the making of finalizing all that stuff. So
good for you.
yeah, so it's a
That's
lot to
great.
do, but hopefully make a huge impact and really highlight those people that should be highlighted because
Right.
I don't need to hear the stories anymore if you went to college and da-da-da-da-da. Like, what happened after something super tragic
Yeah.
happened to you? How'd you turn that around? Like, we need more heroes and stories like that today.
Agreed. That's awesome.
It is.
Yeah, so
Well, I think we have a success story right here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So we have a minute before we have to sign off. So thank you so much for coming on and
Thank you for having me.
educating us. And with that being said, Catherine Conley, a.k.a. KC, Justin Ferreira, a.k.a. Sportsmaster, Lucy Cabral, a.k.a. Paparazzi, Antron Peebles, a.k.a. Big Tron,
Big Tron.
I like that. I like that.
Caleb Tremblay, and we have Dominic Damiano, a.k.a. Dom, outside the studio with you guys. So we will see you next time on 40 Sports Talk.